Hi everybody, how are we? Yay! Yay! We're streaming today. We're streaming today and it's earlier than usual, so I'm higher energy than usual. Yeah, I have decided that the 5 p.m. streams of Thursdays gone by are dead. Sorry 5 p.m. streams. Oops, sorry. I work better at 3 and I kept thinking, there's more people online at 5. I should stream at 5. I feel so much better when I stream at 3 versus when I stream at 5. It works so much better with my schedule. So we're here. It's 3 p.m. I gotta turn my music on. My camera zoomed back out. There we go. Uh, let's kick it off with the giver. For obvious reasons. Alright. Yay! We did it! Hi, everybody. We're back again. I have not made any progress on Chapel since the last time I streamed, because I've been busy. I had a couple days where I was just working on Chapel, working on Chapel, working on Chapel, working on Chapel, and I had to remind myself that I do have a job, and I do need to do things for my job. Unfortunately, I cannot work on Chapel Roan 12 hours a day, as much as I'd like to. As fun as that is. Unfortunately, they frown upon that. I don't know why. I couldn't imagine why. Why would they frown upon such a thing? But I'm back. And, you know, I was complaining last week that the fabric was, like, super sticky? It's getting less sticky as the days go by, so I think just as the paint, like, further cures, it normalizes itself out. It's like a normal amount of faux leather sticky now. It is still way too shiny. I still want to get, like, a matte sealant. Maybe. If not, I'm just gonna live with the sticky. Because I realize the further I get into this process, the harder it's going to be to coat this with a matte sealant. And matte sealant's expensive to buy, because the matte sealant's like $10, and then I have to pay like $15 to get it shipped here, which is annoying. But I'm trying to figure if it's worth it. I might put it on top of the pinky parts and then leave the blue parts shiny. Just for sparkle and oomph. That's good that it's getting less sticky, right? It was scary how sticky it was there for a bit. But like now, that feels normal to me. That feels like normal faux leather, which is good. And I still need to wash off some of the water soluble stabilizer on this. Oops. I still have not washed that off. I've been busy, okay? Tuesday I went to a concert, and then Wednesday I was catching up on work. Forgive me. Forgive me, I was working on commissions off stream instead of on stream for once. Throw me in the harbor. Throw me into the harbor for having the audacity to work off stream. It feels so weird to do patterning off stream now, because I usually like to save a lot of it for on stream these days. And so I kept sitting there being like, man, I'm being really quiet. Maybe I should talk to chat more. There was no chat. Chat, clip this, and it's just me. All that to say, I'm in my pajamas. Chapel Run is here. Let's get to dazzling. I think I'm gonna start from the top and work my way down. I think that's a good idea. Just so I'm not like starting here and then like rubbing my hand against this as I go further up. If I go like this, there's less of a chance of me doing that. I'm also left-handed, so I always have to start with the rights of my costumes too. But I think that's a good game plan. I think. Let me pour some. Oh, you can't even really see that, but I'm like halfway through the rhinestone bag. Look at that. It was like completely full when I first got it. So I think that tells you how many rhinestones I'm going through at like a crazy degree. And I've barely used any glue. That's really funny. You can see right at the top. I've used like that much glue. I'm gonna have this glue for the rest of my life, I think. That's not a bad thing. That's the opposite of a bad thing. It's just very funny. I'm gonna put these in 2 different ones so I can shake them around easier. There we go. Ooh. I hate this little rubber thing that's on here because every time I go to put glue down, I think it's gonna like get in the glue and smear on things. It scares me every time. Come on. Don't be bad at this after you were so good at it last week, Glue Tim. Glue Tim? Who's Glue Tim? Yeah, I went to a concert on Tuesday. I went to see Joe in Toronto. And if you've been to the streams here on Twitch and you've listened to my Stream Safe music playlist, you've definitely heard a Joe song. And if you have not heard of who Joe is, you have seen his face because he is Joe Keery, the actor who plays Steve Harrington on Stranger Things. Among other things, but that's what most people know him for. And we had to buy VIP tickets for the concert because by the time I got through the Ticketmaster queue hell, they had already like sold out of general admission. So all they had left was VIP. And I was like, sure, he's one of my favorite artists of all time. I love his music. I'd love to see him in concert. I'll splurge and buy us the VIP tickets. Well, that got us early entry, which I've never had a concert where I've gotten early entry because I'm always the guy buying the cheap yet somehow still pretty decent seat tickets. I'm not the guy spending $1 bajillion on a concert. And so, like, we get to the venue and we realize that we get to get into the venue an hour early. And so the line to get into the venue 2 hours before the concert starts is already wrapped around the venue almost an entire time. And it's not a small venue. Like, it's a venue that can fit like 2,500 people, which I guess you could consider small, but like, it's not a small building, I mean. And we finally find the VIP line. And I feel so fancy in the VIP line. I'm like, ooh, I get early entry. I'm in the VIP line. Like, there's not that many of us here. It starts pouring rain. It starts absolutely decimatingly thunder and lightning drenching rain on us as we're standing there in line. Luckily, Peter and I only showed up like 20 minutes before they started letting us in as the VIPs. So we only had to wait in the rain for 20 minutes. But waiting in pouring thunder and lightning rain for 20 minutes gets you soaking wet. So it was really funny as people ahead of us in line were getting into the venue because the line went like this and then backed up around and went like this. And like these were the people getting in the venue and then the line went like this. The people getting in the venue would start handing off their ponchos to the people who were still in line. So at one point I got a poncho, but at that point I was already soaking wet and it was so windy that the poncho like was not fixing the issues I was having simply because of the fact that the wind was just blowing the poncho off my body. And so I get into the venue. It's Canada. I need to stress, it is Canada in April. It snowed like 4 weeks ago and it's regularly cold outside and we're in the middle of a rainstorm. And they have the AC on. The air conditioning. It's 9 degrees Celsius outside. It's not even warm enough to be outside without a coat on. And they've got the AC on. So we're in there, we're wet, and we're cold. And so I make a beeline to the merch table because I was going to buy myself a shirt anyway. And I buy myself a shirt. And I just immediately go to the bathroom and put it on so that I can be like less sopping wet.
The sopper.
The sopper. And it slightly worked, though I did have like soggy pants and wet hair for the entirety of the concert. And I feel like if it was a concert where people were more up and jumpy and dancey, it would have provided more of a benefit. But unfortunately, Joe doesn't have too many songs that are like jumpy and dancey. And we were packed in like sardines, as Peter is saying. Mwah. You gonna work?
Yeah, I'm going to work.
Oh,
I wanted to say hi to the people. Hi, people.
I'm sure the people say hi back.
Bye, people.
Bye, people. Peter's going to work.
Let me
Everybody wish
wave.
him luck. Wave at the camera. You can't see me.
You can't see me. Time
you.
is up. Time
is now. You can't see me. My time is now. Have fun at work, Kimber says. What? No. But so we get into the venue. And I need to stress, I end up in the merch line. I'm in the merch line for like 5-10 minutes. I get out of the merch line. About 200 people have already gotten into the venue before me. And I notice there's a spot at the barricade. And I think, surely not. I think surely somebody's saving that for their friend. Like, surely we're not about to get barricaded, Joe. And a girl I was standing next to in line waves me down. And she's like, no, like, these are barricade spots. Like, come get in. And I was like, oh my God. So we ended up getting barricade at this concert. And I've never been barricade at a concert before. I don't know barricade concert etiquette. But to be fair, concert etiquette has gone out the window and people are crazy. People are crazy at concerts these days. They have no sense. Like, we end up making friends with this girl who was in the line with us, who invited us up to, like, stand at barricade when she noticed there was a spot. And, like, a couple other people. And at one point, this girl, she goes, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And we were like, yeah, totally, we'll hold your spot at barricade. So we're holding her spot at barricade. She's gone, maybe 5 minutes. She comes back. They've not even started letting in general admission yet. It is only the VIP people. So, like, the venue's not crowded or anything. There's maybe 200 of us in there. There's nobody standing behind us, like, waiting to get to barricade or anything. We get back. She gets back. We give her spot back. And the girl next to her turns and goes, excuse me? And she's like, yeah? And the girl's like, you left. You don't get your spot back. You left. And she's like, what? And the girl's like, yeah, you left barricade. You can't let people hold your spot for you. You have to go all the way to the back. It's literally move your feet, lose your seat antics. Which would be crazy enough on its own. But, like, she had me, Peter, and 2 other people who were, like, watching her spot for her. Like, and we're, like, perfectly okay with it. Like, we were all up against the barricade together, and we were, like, looking out for one another. And this girl's like, no, you can't do that. And then, like, kept shooting her dirty looks for the rest of the concert. And then her boyfriend was standing behind her. And her boyfriend was a tall man in the second row of a general admission concert. Which, first of all, jail. First of all, if you're that tall, jail. You have to go to jail for that. Not for doing anything, just for being that tall. I just think it should be illegal. Imagine being an actually person at Joe of all people. Literally. And during the entire opening act, her, who I assume is her boyfriend, because they were kissing, is standing there with his arms crossed and pouting. He literally is like, arms crossed, like, during the entire opening act. And there's nothing wrong with the opening act. I thought they were great. I had a great time during the opening act. And this guy's, like, pouting the entire time. And I'm like, why are you here? Why are you here if you hate the opening act of the show you're going to see? And why are you being an actually person? Joe. Joe of all people. Literally, your fave would hate that you were acting like that. Your fave would hate that. Joe would be like, that's actually fucked. Leave. That's actually, like, crazy messed up. You gotta go now. People are so strange. It was just, like, crazy that that's, like, the hill you want to die on. Before general admission has even gotten in here. So once general admission got in, we were packed like sardines and none of us were leaving our spots. Because it was extremely hard to get in. At one point, Peter had to leave to go to the bathroom and it took him, like, forever to get back. Because you don't want to be that person who's like, sorry, I'm trying to make it to the front. That's where my friends are, but like actually meaning it. But after that, it was great. One of my biggest pet peeves is I can't stand when I go to concerts, especially general admission concerts, and I can't see what's going on because everybody in front of me is like holding their phone up like this, filming the entire concert, everybody in the audience. I have no clue if that was happening at Joe because there was not a soul in front of me. I was at the barricade. I was like locked in with the music. Nobody could stop me. Like, I felt such an inner bliss and a peace I have not felt at a concert in years. Because I get so mad when people cannot put their phones down. Because we went to the same venue, I guess this was almost 2 years ago, to see Big Time Rush. My friend bought me Big Time Rush tickets. Um, for my birthday. And we're in the Big Time Rush crowd. And anytime one of the Big Time Rush boys does anything, the crowd would start to push. Which was crazy because we were like near the back of the general admission crowd. So like why are we getting pushed? And this woman was standing behind us. And imagine if you will, this is my partner Peter. My partner Peter, he has bad shoulders. He's like disabled. He's not like disabled. He is disabled. He has like chronic shoulder pain. This woman standing behind Peter has her phone up and she's filming and she's doing this. She's leaning her elbow on top of Peter's shoulder to put her arm over Peter's head to film and is resting on his shoulder and keeps bumping into him. And Peter like genuinely is like starting to feel like in pain because of this, because this woman's like jostling his chronic pain disabled shoulder, which already flares up when he has to stand for like long periods of time. And so like I think we politely asked her at some point, we're like, hey, would you mind like, you know, not putting your elbow on top of Peter's shoulder, like weird behavior, but you know, we were like willing to be nice. At one point she like fully bumps into both Peter and me, and I turn around and I look at her. And this is like the 10th, 15th time she's done this at this point. Like, it's intentional that she keeps bumping into us. And I turn around and I go, can you stop, please? And she starts yelling at me. She starts trying to like start a full-on argument with me in the middle of the Big Time Rush concert. Big Time Rush is on stage and they're singing. And this woman, this is not a child. This is not like a teenage girl. This woman looked the youngest she could have been was 25. She looked like she was 30. And she's throwing this much of a hissy fit about, you know, getting into and encroaching on someone else's space and being politely asked to stop at the Big Time Rush concert. And we weren't like we weren't even like packed in there like sardines like we were at Joe. Like, she could have very easily walked around us and gotten further into the pit and gotten a better view. But no, she insisted on standing right behind Peter and like bashing her arm into his shoulder the entire concert until we bitched her out, and then she left. We didn't even bitch her out. She bitched us out, and I just turned around and I was like, and I like put my hands up. I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm trying to enjoy the concert. I don't even know, like, I can't name you 5 Big Time Rush songs. I can name you 3. I can name you 3 Big Time Rush songs off the top of my head. Like, I don't know what's going on at this concert. I'm not a Big Time Rush fan. I'm here because Hope thought it was funny to buy me tickets. And like, I don't have the energy for this. This is not the hill I want to die on. This is not the hill I want to die on. I don't even mess with Big Time Rush. One of them's a Zionist. Come on. Oh lord. Too much glue. Oh my god, Joe. I was just talking about you, King. What are you doing here? I don't remember which one. I don't know their names, Kimber. I hate to tell you, I do not know the names of the boys in Big Time Rush. You could tell me one of them was named like Ben. I'd be like, yeah, true. One of them named like Joseph. I'm like, yeah, sure. You could start lying and telling me the names of like the Big Time Rush members and just straight up lying to me, and I'd be like, yeah, I'd just believe you. I'd wholeheartedly believe you. Can we zoom in, please? Thank you. Why does my camera keep zooming out? That's evil. Don't you know BTR? It's Gleep Glor. It's Gleep Gloop, Glob, and Bloop. Obviously. You didn't watch Big Time Rush on Nickelodeon, that channel that they famously had in Canada? That channel that famously you would have to pay like an extra $20 a month if you wanted in Canada? I remember I would be so excited whenever I would like take trips to the States, or like there were times in my life where my mom would like date a man who lived in the States. We'd like drive there to, visit him for the weekend. And I'd be so excited because it meant I could watch American television channels and eat American food. I was like, oh my god, I get to watch Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and the Disney Channel. And that was like the height of luxury to me, was being able to go to America and watch the American TV channels. I was like, oh my god, I can watch them do the thing on the Disney Channel with the wands, where they go, I'm blee blee blee, I'm blee blee blee, and you're watching Disney Channel. I didn't like boy bands, but the blonde with dark eyebrows had me in a chokehold. I do not think he's the Zionist. I do not think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. I don't know what's going on. Kimber wins! Don't quote me on this. I don't know where I am. Don't quote me on this. I don't know what day of the week it is. I thought yesterday was Tuesday. I literally was at a concert on Tuesday. Okay, this is starting to... Yeah, this does have a clog. Before I do the next row of gems, I will clear out that clog with like a pin. I just need to get up to get a pin, and I don't want to do that right now. I was not into Big Time Rush. I was not into any boy bands until I went to middle school. And like I started at like this new school, and I was trying to make friends, and everybody who I talked to in my class liked One Direction. And so I convinced myself that I would like fake like One Direction to get into their good graces and like have a common topic to talk to the other kids about. And then I ended up becoming a One Direction fan. So about that. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a pin. Ow. Or not. Maybe I'm trapped. I think I'm trapped. Oh no. Oh yeah, my stupid chair's doing the stupid thing again. Bear with me. Oh god. Okay, I'll be back. Struggling, but I will be back. Hello? Oh, okay. I fixed it. My chair got stuck. Eric, my cat, trying to get onto my seat. I leave for 5 seconds, and he's like, warm chair for me? I love warm chair. Okay. Let me get back in here. Okay, there we go. Who wants to see the world's most messed up looking little pincushion? That's right. This is my like scary ball of scaries. Look at this thing. It has like broken needles sticking out of it and like pins of like 5 different kinds. It's a scary little creature. I'm gonna grab one of my uglier pins that I hate. There we go. That should be better now. Oh, that's way better. There we go. If anything, I think that's too much glue. Oops. Happens. Oh no, too much glue. Whatever will I do? Ugh, life is so hard. Oh. No, don't get yourself stuck to that. Thank you. No. Thank you. Oh my god. Hell yeah. My screen. Busy woman. Oh my god. Sometimes I have to like rearrange my windows on my monitors during stream because they'll just like randomly glitch and just go everywhere except for where they're supposed to go. And every time I feel so scared. They never tell you when it comes to live streaming that it's like producing your own tiny TV show. Like you're doing all of like the production side of it and you're doing it live. And you have to make it look seamless and cool and like you're good at this. Nobody warns you about this when you start Twitch streaming. There's no handbook for Twitch streaming that tells you these things. I love doing all this bedazzling and knowing I'm never going to get to see it when I'm wearing the costume because it's entirely on the back of it. I'm like, well, anybody who sees me from behind is going to be in for a sparkly treat. Hope they love it. Hope they love it. Hope they think it looks good. I got no concept. I'm gonna be gallivanting around YetiCon like this. Just blinding the locals. Because that's the beautiful thing. YetiCon is a convention that happens in the Blue Mountains of Ontario, Canada. It is a ski resort that is also like a summer vacation resort as well. That looks like a little village. It's super, super cute. It looks like a little village, and there's like shops and restaurants on the first floors of the buildings, and then the second, third, fourth floors are like the hotels. So like your hotel room balcony is like overlooking the streets of the little village. It's super cute. It's super awesome. But like the thing is, the convention does not like shut down Blue Mountain for tourists. Tourists are still there. And that's the funny part, because there have to be signs like around the Blue Mountain Resort that say, hey, if you see somebody in a weird costume, ask before you take a photo of them. Please. They're normal people too. They're not getting paid to do this. They're doing this for fun. And if you wouldn't like somebody randomly taking a photo of you, don't randomly take a photo of them. And it's very, very funny the amount of like people who will walk up to you at YetiCon and be like, what is this? And we have to be like, oh, it's Comic-Con. And they're like, Comic-Con here? We're like, yeah. We're like, yeah, isn't it kind of crazy? Come on. There we go. I will never forget being in like the middle of a photo shoot and like 3 different families like just stand next to the photographer and just start taking photos of me. I was like, oh, okay. Guess this is a photo shoot for the public now. I've had a few of those. Like there was a car showing of like expensive sports cars during a con. Very famously, Anime North in Toronto a couple years back. I think it was Anime North. Like one of the adjacent convention centers was like a Canadian conservative political convention, and then also Anime North at the same time. I know there's been like a couple of like business conventions at the same hotels as like furry cons too, which I always think is really awesome. I think we should like scare more businessmen with furries. Or we did a theater thespian festival in a hotel a weekend after a furry con, and the hotel workers were like, "Are you also furries?" I love that because I either hear that like furry cons are like the nicest to hotels, or like there was that one furry con that was like a nightmare where there was the one person who was like putting soiled diapers on people's cars. I cannot tell you which furry con that was. I remember watching a YouTube video about it once. That's it. I cannot give you more information than that. I do not know and I do not want to know. What glue do you use for rhinestoning? Uh it is like a mostly unlabeled white tube that I got from Michaels. I got it in a pack from Michaels that was this glue. My cat is meowing for some reason. Eric? What? Oh, he's brought his toy downstairs. He wants me to know that he brought his toy downstairs. Thank you, Eric. Um, I bought this pack at Michael's that came with like three of these little things to hold your gems, and then this glue. But if I wasn't using this, I'd be using E6000. I just like this because it has let me beauty influencer hand. It has like a little almost like a needle tip here that puts the glue out a lot finer than straight from like an E6000 tube would be. Oh my god, why did I suddenly get like the hiccups? Chapel, what are you doing here, girl? I would recommend E6000, specifically clear E6000. Um, because I made the mistake of buying white E6000 and then I had to work with white E6000 when I was doing like my test bedazzling for Berlin, and I immediately was like, "Oh, this is bad." I'm sure it has its uses, but not now. So make sure you're buying the right type of E6000. Don't be like me. I didn't know they made E6000 in white. I just bought the first E6000 I could find at the store, and then I came home and I was like, "Oh, I don't even know what type of glue this is." That is the funniest part. It literally was just like rhinestone glue and gem trays, $8. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I poured too many gems in here. Get in there. Thank you. But this glue isn't too bad. It keeps things stuck. It dries clear. It has like a decent working time, so I don't feel like I'm pouring out glue and having to like rush to place my stones down. But I also work in really small sections. I'd rather work in a small section and have to like place and have to like re-glue a couple times than work in a large section and my glue's constantly drying on me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, get into it. Get into bedazzling, yeah. Hi. Hi guys, I'm Ariana Grande. Oh my god, Ariana Grande, I love your work. What are you doing on Twitch? Oh my god, I love your VTuber. Thank you, my sweet little girl. This is Zenirith. She is a tiefling sorcerer who was in my original D&D campaign I played when I was 15. But because we abandoned that campaign in the middle of the campaign, she now haunts me in real life. So I've put her on Twitch in order to placate her and try and give her something to do while she tries and figure out she tries to figure out how to go home. That's her official lore. She just lives in my house and annoys me. Ooh, I just got like a whiff of the glue. I don't think it smells good. Uh-oh. I am not entirely not convinced that this is just white glue. Like, I genuinely don't know what kind of gem glue this is, and I think that's really funny. They don't really tell you what kind of glue it is on the little container. They're like, it's gem glue. Isn't that an answer enough for you? I'm like, not really, but thank you. Like, I guess I'll take it. Not perfect. You know, it has like health warnings on it, like don't eat it. But it doesn't say anything about like intended for adult fashion and decorative uses only, do not put into mouth or ingest. It doesn't say anything about it being like toxic to inhale like E6000 is. So that makes me think it's better for me than E6000 is. But also I'm working in a well-ventilated space. Always work in a well-ventilated space when using glue, otherwise you're gonna die. Uh-oh. Uh, you're gonna die. Shake these bad boys around again. There we go. I think I can fit one more gem right there. Yes! Oh wait, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. I moved too far. Oh, and I just spilled a bunch of gems. Awesome. Good job, Peyton. Great work. Great work, Peyton. Real pro. Real pro behavior. Just throwing things around. There we go. Let me scoot this. Actually, I'll turn this around so you can see it a little bit better. And I will, like, show it off. Right here at the bottom. Obviously, this covers that. So I was trying to see how many gems I could fit into here before they started, like, overlapping each other. And I think it looks good. Let me... Look at that look at that. Look at the way it, like, shines and sparkles. Ugh, so good. So good. Unfortunately, I do have to blow up into like a billion pieces all at once. Logitune, open back up. Let me back in. Let me pan. There we go. That's better. Now we can start the left side of the back, and then after we do this, we have to tackle the front, which I think the front is the most like involved part for bedazzling because it has so many scallops on the front compared to any other part of the costume. But I don't think it's anything I can't handle. If I've made it this far, I can do anything. Also, nobody's redeemed their daily hauntings yet. I'm a little offended. I want to see a haunting photo. If I have to redeem one, I will. But I think the daily hauntings are my favorite part of streaming, mostly because they're just like jump scares every time. Because I never know what photo is going to come up. And some of them are scary. Most of them are scary. Some of them are delightful. There we go. Oh my god, wait, speaking of scary, I don't think I've ever told this story. I've told it to friends, but I don't think I've told it like on stream or on the internet. Um, about the time that somebody like blatantly stole one of my patterns and then just like posted them stealing it on TikTok and like teaching other people how to steal it. Um, so wait, let me finish this row and then I will lock in. I have to tell this story, but I need to lock in to tell it. So yeah, wait, I've never told you guys this story, but it is somebody stole one of my patterns and then posted on TikTok about how they stole it and how to teach other people how to steal it. So I sell like PNG and SVG like files for different things. For example, like the back of Vi's jacket in Arcane Season 2. Or like little logos for things and stuff that you can like, print out on iron-on transfer paper or use as an SVG to cut out on your Cricut or just print it out on paper and use it as a template. And I don't really have any of them that are very expensive. They're all pretty cheap. One of my cheapest being my mouth-washing ones for Anya's Crossheart patch and the Pony Express logo that I sell for, I think, like $1.50 Canadian. So like $1 US. Like, it's nothing huge. And they're completely made from scratch to be like high quality, to specifically be easy to use on like a cutting machine, not have like a bunch of jagged edges and stuff. Try and make them as close to the reference image as I can. And I try and make them affordable because that's just like the philosophy I use with my products. And I'm scrolling through TikTok because my mouthwashing products have gone viral. My mouthwashing products at the time had gone viral. So I was like scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through the mouthwashing cosplay hashtags, looking to see if anybody had used my templates or used my patches because I can tell what they look like. I just like know the difference. And I stumble across this TikTok, and it is somebody who's like too poor to pay for templates, so I'm making them myself. And it is a time-lapse video of them in like a drawing app on their phone, taking a screenshot of the listing photo for my mouthwashing Crossheart patch, and lowering the opacity and just tracing over it. And just shamelessly tracing over it. And you can see in the video my watermark directly over what they're tracing. So they're tracing over it specifically to get rid of my watermark, instead of just paying the $1 to get the high quality like file. And they just like posted this on TikTok, and they were like responding to comments. And people are like, oh my god, this is so smart. They're like, yeah, I know, it saved me so much money. Like I'm selling these for like a crazy amount of money or something. If you want to trace over somebody else's thing, don't post it on the internet because you never know who's going to find it. Sometimes it's me. And sometimes I will comment on the video and go, this really isn't cool. Please don't do this. It was so weird. I couldn't even be mad because I was just like flabbergasted. I was just completely like, the audacity and the gall to do this, I almost have to respect it. There is also somebody out there who either bought or traced over one of my like PNG SVG decals, turned it into a patch, and then started selling it. That one is crazy because they still sell it to this day. And it's even crazier because it was a patch that I also sold. And I could tell that they traced over mine because I have a very specific way. Sometimes with my products, I will draw things in a certain way, or with my patterns, I'll add seam lines in certain spots that set me apart from like other pattern makers. And that way I can tell if somebody's stolen my work. Because I know what my own work looks like, and I know if somebody's like stolen my pattern or my like resource or my blueprint or whatever in order to make something, because I know what mine looked like. And I had a very specific shape of this patch, this hypothetical patch that I'm not going to name because this person still sells these patches and I'm not interested in getting into drama. But they quite literally just like traced over my patch and they sold it. And then I kept seeing people wearing this patch at like C2E2. And I kept thinking, oh, is that mine? Oh my god, that looks like mine. And then having to be like, no, that's the person who stole from me. They bought the patch from the person who stole from me. It's a sucky feeling. I've also had like big name cosplay influencers use my patterns. And then when people ask them in the comments, hey, did you pattern this yourself? They go, yes. When I have concrete evidence and proof that they bought my pattern and used my pattern and DM'd me and said, I am so happy that I bought your pattern because it made making this cosplay so much easier. And then they lie to their fans. These are people I am not friends with anymore. Because when you do that to me, I see it. I see it or somebody else sees it and brings it up to me. And it's really, really sucky. Like, that's not, I don't know. I'm such a big, call me sappy. I'm such a big person about the community aspect of cosplay, about specifically like the community aspect of sharing tutorials, sharing resources, hyping each other up, going to cons to hang out with your friends, all that stuff. Cosplay is like a communal hobby. And when people want to be so like singular about it and act like, oh, I did this all myself, like it makes them look more impressive, it just grinds my gears. I'm not afraid to seek outside resources when I don't know things. And nobody else should be either, because it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to seek out resources. It's not a bad thing to use the tools available to you. It doesn't make you less of a crafter, and it sure as hell doesn't make you less of a cosplayer. Because that's the whole point of cosplay. Cosplay started with, like, people, you know, with no cosplay specific resources, just making things up. Just making things up and playing around and seeing how far they could go. And it's only in the past couple years that we've gotten cosplay specific resources. And those people learned what they learned by working with other people and working like with their community. Like, why try and like deny that that's a part of the cosplay community essentially? Heck yes, I'm always helping friends make their costumes. Me too. Literally, sometimes I will have like friends DM me and they'll be like, Peyton, I hate to bug you and you can say no, but can you let me know XYZ? Like, how did you make this part of your costume? Or I think I want to make this costume, but I'm not quite sure how to tackle this part of it. Do you have any advice? And I literally will like always answer. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, let me tell you. I always will. Like, lately it's been with the 6 costumes. I have a lot of people who will like DM me and ask me questions about like 6 costumes. And I'm happy to answer like with my experience making Bolin or like directing them to my YouTube video about Bolin. I love sharing secrets. I think gatekeeping is so lame. Gatekeeping is lame and it's for losers. And if you gatekeep, you're a loser. Sorry. If you have a problem with that, if you think me saying that gatekeeping makes you a loser and you get mad about that, I think you have to like look internally and like think about what that means for you instead of what that says about me. Wink. Because gatekeeping is lame and it's for losers. I love to talk. I love to yap. It's one of the reasons why I do streams. Because I'm like, it's the best way to like sit here and yap and talk about costumes and like talk to the cosplay community like outside of a convention. Because if not, I'm just posting on my Instagram stories. And posting on my Instagram stories is great, don't get me wrong, but it can be like isolating sometimes. And I kind of like Twitch and YouTube because like I get to talk and I get like direct feedback from people who will like talk back to me. And without that, I'm just kind of a guy like sitting in my basement and going to like 2 conventions a year. This is the first year I've gone to like more than 1 or 2 conventions a year in a long time. I usually like only go to Fan Expo Canada and then another convention if they invite me to guest there. Which I'm lucky I have a guesting gig in a couple of months that is yet to be announced. But I'm really excited for it and I don't know what I'm going to wear. And the soul in me yearns to make a brand new costume. Because I'm like, oh, this is the one chance to make something ridiculous. But I don't know what. My life is so hard. When in doubt, I'll just bring another costume from the collection. But it's a very specific kind of convention where I want to bring a very specific kind of costume. It'd be like showing up to Broadway Con not in a Broadway costume in that kind of way. And I don't really have any costumes that I think would like match the theme of the convention. And so I'm like, I should make something. But what? When it's announced, maybe I'll ask the people. I'll ask the people once my guesting is announced. What do you guys think I should make? It's also in the summer, so I have to think about a costume that won't make me overheat. And I'm pretty sure we're driving up that morning, so. I was a sucker for Phantom costume if it's Broadway themed. I love you, Phantom. I keep thinking about like my Meg Giry masquerade costume that I made in like 2021, I think that was. Where the fabric of the jacket immediately disintegrated, but the rest of the costume's still fine. I think if I take all the like beaded patches off of the disintegrating jacket, get new fabric, make a new jacket, I would happily wear that costume again. And a new wig. The wig I had was a nightmare. It didn't fit my head. I think I still have that wig. I should sell it. I should sell it because it does not fit my head. Oopsies. Oh, sorry. This thing is so sparkly shiny. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's so funny because if I get to go to Broadway Con again next year, which I would love to if I can swing it, I would want to make a new costume. I think I want to remake Squip again. I keep thinking about it. I want to remake, like, I thought the last version of Squip I made would be my final form of the Squip, but I used the wrong fabric. I accidentally ordered the wrong type of custom printed fabric, and I just kind of had to deal with it. And then it started to, like, not. The other fabric I used, not the custom printed fabric, but like the black satin I used, was like really prone to fraying and essentially started fraying after 2 wears to a point that like it started to fray at the seams. Despite being serged and the edges finished and I did everything right, the fabric just sucked. And so I'd like to remake it with better fabric, both for the outside and the inside, for the custom printed and the lining, because I used cotton for the custom printed when I should have used satin. And so I'd like to remake Squip, have like a final form version of the Squip costume. That way I can like have something I'm proud of. Because the Squip means a lot to me as like a cosplay and as a character. Because I met Peter through cosplaying the Squip. I met a lot of my friends through cosplaying the Squip. Cosplaying the Squip and was like one of my re-intros into Broadway cosplay, which brought me back into like theater and brought back my love for theater after I fell out of love in theater a little bit when I realized I couldn't go to school for theater because I really wanted to go to school for theater, which was funny because I wasn't doing like high school theater. That was the funniest part, but I wanted to go to school for theater production. But I was never doing high school theater because I was so busy with cosplay. What is that character from? Be More Chill. The Squip is like the evil supercomputer villain from Be More Chill. And I have made his costume that he wears at the beginning of Act 2 twice now. The first time was entirely hand-painted. The second time I relied on custom printed fabric, luckily, because the hand-painting literally took me 6 months. I was like freshly 18 and crazy. Yeah, I was gonna go to school for theater production despite the fact that I wasn't doing high school theater because I was so busy with cosplay and having a job that I didn't have time to also do high school theater. But then I couldn't go to school for theater because a lot of the local theater production schools, local, like within like 5 hours of me, needed like a theater resume, and I didn't have a theater resume, nor did I have like good photos of any of the cosplays I was making at the time because I was a teenager and I wasn't paying to get photo shoots at conventions because I didn't have that kind of money. And so I like gave up and I was like, well, I mean, if I go to school for business, this local business school like has the option to do like the international Disney college programs. Like I can go to school for business and then I can do the Disney college program and everything will be great. And then I literally went through 6 months of auditioning for the Disney College program. I had an audition with my school, an audition with a school in Florida, or like an interview with my school, an interview with a school in Florida, and 2 interviews with Disney, as well as having to fill out like endless amounts of paperwork. And I get a phone call that says, "Hey Peyton, it's such and such from Disney." And I was like, "Oh my god, this is my moment. This is awesome. This is awesome. I can't wait to hear this. I hope it's not too delayed because it is April 30th, 2020." And I get the phone call that says, "Hey, it's such and such from Disney. We want to offer you the role that you want. We want to, like, invite you down here to go to school here and work here for 6 months. When the pandemic eases up, and then by the time the pandemic eased up, I had graduated from college. And then it still took them another year to implement the program back in place. Oof, yeah, I went to a fashion school and learned how to properly make costumes, but now I just have the audacity to mush mash most of my patterns to make pieces. I failed the questionnaire 3 times for the program, never made it past that first step. Oh my god. That really, making costumes really is just mush mashing things together until things work. You can do as much planning as you want for a costume, and I love like pre-planning before I make a cosplay, like planning out my budget, all my supplies and all that stuff to make it like easier later, making a mock-up and everything. But once you get into the actual construction of the costume, there is always something that's going to go wrong, and you're always going to have to like fly by the seat of your pants at one point in the process. And the sooner you accept that and you like live with that, the sooner that you can just like not get so stressed out over it. At least that's my philosophy. Like chapel was going great until I was doing that sewing stream like a week ago when I first started working on chapel, and I like couldn't sew this fabric at all because it was too sticky, and I had to like fly by the seat of my pants to like figure out how to even sew this fabric. Like you can do as much prep as you want. Like I made sure the mock-up fit well, I made sure I had all the proper supplies, this and that and that and this, and still something will go wrong. Something will always go wrong. That's just like the destiny of cosplay, is if you're cosplaying, something's going to go wrong. You just have to live with it. Also, be brave, my Twitch ad warriors, if you get stolen. You're legally required to tell me what weird ads you saw. If you saw any weird ones, you have to tell me when you get back. Oh yeah, I was making a pair of poof pants and accidents made it into a skirt since I was rushing to finish it. Oop. Oopsies. Listen, did it look good in the end? Because if it looked good in the end, that's all that matters. If it looked good and you felt good, that's what matters. It doesn't need to be perfect. Shake, 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 shake. Wow, that did not turn a single one of those the right way around. Come on. Okay, fine. I'll pour you into there. Fine. Since you hate me. Shake more of these around. There we go. Like, my Western Joker cosplay I wore at C2E2 was like a throw things together haberdash of a costume. Like, I truly just went into my closet and was like, okay, what do I have in here that can work? What can I buy from a thrift store that can work? And then I couldn't find a vest in the right color that I wanted at a thrift store. So I was like, okay, how fast can I make this vest? And I made the vest that I ended up wearing for Western Joker in 2 hours. Because I was like, I am not wasting time on this costume, spending a long time on this costume. I have my more important costume for C2E2 to finish, which was Rhea. And Rhea was taking forever. Rhea was taking time. Painting and studding that jacket took an abhorrent amount of time for no particular reason. But I had fun with it. If you can't tell by now, I like doing weird, kind of slow, tedious cosplay tasks. Like right now, adding 2,000 rhinestones to chapel. Nobody's making me do this. I'm doing this entirely on my own. I love weird and tedious. I just get mad when it takes forever because I'm such a fast worker otherwise. Like, very notoriously, I'm so speedy at anything. I was always like the first kid in class who finished my work. I will, sew very quickly because I will get like fixated on something and I will work on it until it's done. And I just work fast. But things like this, there's no way to make this go faster. I just have to sit here and just enjoy the slow, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to like force myself to slow down and do something. But I also get extremely frustrated with it because I'm like, well, this should be going faster. Why isn't this going faster? I need to do this. I need to finish this now. Why is it taking forever? Can you zoom back in, please? Not like that. There we go. Same on being speedy, but unless I have someone nearby, I can't do tedious. If I'm doing tedious, I will either stream it like I'm doing now, because it holds me accountable and forces me to do a certain amount of work in a certain amount of time without getting distracted. Or I will like put on a YouTube video and space out. Like when I made Leslie from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the TV show, which was an entirely rug punched jacket that took me like 6 months straight of just rug punching. I would do it on my couch. I would do it entirely on my couch and watch TV with my partner. Or like when I worked on Molly Mock, I would work on Molly Mock on the couch too. All the studying for Anne Boleyn was done on my couch. If there's like tedious cosplay work, I try and see if I can either do it. Usually I try and see if I can do it on my couch. If I can't do it on my couch, I'll do it on stream. Like I could do this on my couch, but I don't want to sit on my couch with glue. I'll sit on my couch with like a hand sewing needle. I won't sit on my couch with glue. That's a downstairs thing. That's a workshop thing. So I was like, well, I'll do this on stream. I'll do this on stream, and then that way I can sit here and I can like yap for 2 hours at a time with people about nothing and everything. I think last stream I think I started talking about Archive of Our Own at one point. I turn on stream, like I click start streaming, and I like just turn my brain off and I just talk. Sometimes I think too much, and then that's when my streams are bad. If I don't think a lot, streams go good. If I just sit here and I just yap, like it's my own personal podcast, I feel great. One for the kidney, two to the dome. Sing it, baby, no money. Oh, shit, we're almost on the back. Wait! Work. I wish I could work on my couch, but I would be interrupted by my cats, so I feel in the office in the meantime, but it's good to have someone to ramble at, right? My cat, luckily, is not annoying enough to mess with me while I'm working when I'm, like, sitting on the couch, because he usually doesn't like to come hang out with me on the couch. If I'm down here, though, there is a very good chance, if he gets lonely, he will come and he will start pawing at my feet. Or if he gets, like, full of energy, he will come downstairs and start biting at my feet, which is why I sit almost entirely on my office chair, cross-legged, legs tucked up under me, because if not, Eric will come downstairs and he will chew on my ankles. And it hurts. He's got sharp teeth. He's crazy. He's a freak. Look at this. Sorry. The back is done. Oh. Shiny. Shiny sparkly. Look at that. That's gonna look so good once it's all done. I am really excited about this side, though. Let me very cautiously turn this around. Boobs. Boobs. On my Twitch stream. Yeah, this has dried down quite a bit. That's nice. Another Baby No Money song. Is this on shuffle or is it just playing naturally? Are you on shuffle? Please move. Please let me see if you're on shuffle. You are on shuffle. It's just by the chances. Just by the gods. By the gods, Baby No Money. Huzzah, welcome to Boob City. I'm going to start on the front now. I think I'm going to start with the collar for ease. The problem is the most curved part of the costume is the part around the boob cups, and so it's going to be kind of hard to like lay it flat to bedazzle. And this is full of something again. There we go. Shove that back in there. Yay. Okay. One more time. Do you have a hand to lay it on to help? I do. I do. That's actually a smart idea. I just was worried about getting glue on it. But honestly, I have not gotten glue on my table yet, so I think I'm safe. A hand would be smart. Thank you for that. There they are. I'm like, where'd my gems go? Am I crazy? Yes. Yeah, I was worried about the curved parts because I'm like, I have nothing to support them on. But now I do. Yay. I'm still going to do this part first, though, because I've already started, but now I know. Now I'm set for later. Anything to be lazily efficient. Oh, God, you're so right. Work smarter, not harder. Sometimes working smarter is working harder than working dumb, which is unfortunate. But then there's also the phrase of, like, the long way is the short way, which I live by, which is, like, sometimes taking a shortcut will cost you more to fix later than it would if you just did it the full way the first time. So I try and not take shortcuts on my projects because that phrase is too relevant to me. The amount of times I've, like, tried to take a shortcut on something and then ended up spending, like, 4 hours fixing it. Come on. Okay. The glue's being mean. There we go. That's too much glue now. Thank you. I love it. It either does not bring out enough glue or it puts out too much. There is, I will say, in the phrase, the long way is the short way, and having to, like, tear apart your costume you've worked very hard on, there is a distinct reason I have a seam ripper tattoo. There's a very distinct reason there's a seam ripper on my arm, as opposed to any other sewing tool. I smeared my glue. Like, specifically, this isn't even, like, a long way is the short way thing. This is actually just a story from my youth. The first project I ever sewed was I tried to sew a bodice. Calling it a bodice is so funny. That's not really what it is. It was the top half of a Captain America costume from Captain America the First Avenger. That was the first thing I ever sewed myself. I didn't have a pattern. I was completely winging it. It fit horribly. But it fit. And I remember I didn't know how to sew sleeves in. I couldn't figure out how they did that. I couldn't figure out how they sewed sleeves in because I was like, well, that's a round shape, and I'm only used to, you know, sewing 2 pieces of fabric flat together, not 2 tubes together, and figure out how that worked. So I hot glued my sleeves into the armholes of the costume. And let me tell you, if there's one place you don't want hot glue, and like poorly applied hot glue too, so like there's strings everywhere and it's like sharp in some spots somehow. If there's one spot you don't want that, it's in your armpit. It is directly in your armpit. A very high area of movement. And I learned that the hard way when I made this costume and then never wore it to a convention because it was so uncomfortable that I was like, uh-uh. And that almost swore me off of sewing for a couple of years. It was really funny. Like, I knew how to sew, but I wouldn't really sew very often. I was very much focused on, like, armor parts of cosplay, and I would only sew when it was, like, absolutely necessary. I loved EVA foam. I loved Warbler. I would straight up Dremel things in my basement with no, window open. I would Dremel things in my basement with no window open. I would use my heat gun on the floor. No heat protectant. I would use it straight up on my, not even hardwood. You know, like that fake plasticky hardwood they put in rental homes? That's what we had. I would do that. I did not care. I would use spray adhesive on the floor. There was a section of my floor that had turned like gray because all the spray adhesive was still on the floor, but then it just got covered in lint, so it wasn't sticky anymore. Like, I was not crafting smart when I was a teenager. And then our basement flooded. And they had to tear up the bottom like 2 feet of wall and all of the floor and essentially dig like an entire trench around our house so that our basement wouldn't flood, because that was like the third time it flooded. And it ruined the armored Princess Peach costume I was working on at the time. And so I had about 3 months where I couldn't work on cosplays at all because I didn't have access to my basement. And I had my dining room table that my mom didn't let me paint on for obvious reasons. And a sewing machine. So I was like, well, I'll try and make like a sewing costume. I'll make an original design based on Taco from the Adventure Zone, the McElroy brother podcast. And I sewed Taco. And it wasn't good. It wasn't great. I still have some pieces of the costume to this day. I think I sold the shirt finally a couple years back, but I still have the cape. I still have the hat. The hat lives in my closet. And it like made me fall in love with sewing. I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. I loved following commercial patterns. I didn't really have patterns for things I was making out of foam, so I had to like wing everything myself, and it would like frustrate me so bad. But I loved like being able to cut out patterns and follow pre-written instructions and know that at the end of it I would have like a good garment. And using patterns started like teaching me a bunch of new sewing skills about like installing waistbands and all sorts of things and like sewing concepts that I had no clue about. And so I started to like buy patterns whenever they were on sale and just start like hoarding them. And I think looking back, it makes so much sense now that I make patterns for a living, just based on like how badly I fell in love with making things from patterns. Like from like a good old McCall's commercial pattern. I just like I was just buying like random clothing patterns and just turning them into costumes. And then I would be so excited to go to America because I could go to Joanne. God rest her soul. I miss her. I would go to Joanne and they would always have patterns we didn't have at home. Like they have like certain brands, which they were brands that we had in Canada, just not at my local sewing store. So I would always get so excited. It was a Bravant cosplay from Black Butler, and I was sewing crushed velvet right sides together for a capelet. While sewing, it had a drastic shift. I then had to pick the whole thing, and a friend's mom had to pick the rest of it, but it turned out good. I also have a nest of store patterns. I remember showing my mom who like would sew me baby clothes. I remember showing her Captain America, and she's like, "This looks really good." And I still own this Captain America bodice, and I still look at it, and I'm like, good to who, girl? We salute Joanne. I'm very sad about her fate. I'm very sad for all the people who don't have local fabric stores, and Joanne was like their only option. It's like that for me in Canada with Fabricland. If Fabricland suddenly went under, I wouldn't have anywhere to buy fabric. I would have to entirely buy fabric online or drive 3 hours to Toronto to go to like their fabric district, because the only fabric stores close to me are Fabriclands. There's one in my town and there's one 45 minutes away. And that's like all I have for close. There's like one store that sells like quilting fabric, but I'm not quilting. I'm not making quilts. I'm not making quilts. I'm making little leather booty shorts for Chapel Roan. I can't use quilting fabric to make booty shorts. I could, but it wouldn't be the same. Look at, I'm in LA, so it's not terrible, but it could be better. You have more options than I do. I'm a little jealous of you. I love you being like, well, it could be better. I'm like, I would kill. I would kill to be somewhere that had, you know, big city fabric stores. People were telling me when I was in Chicago that they had really good fabric stores in Chicago, but I did not have a chance to go to any of them, nor would I have had room to store fabric to bring home. But God, I would love. I went to the Toronto, like, little fabric-y fashion district once and bought fabric that ended up being the fabric I used for Rapunzel, funnily enough. That's not the project I bought it for, but I fell in love with, like, being able to go to, like, 4 different fabric stores for fun. Because here, I have one option or I have nothing. So that's why the fabric for Chapel needed to be painted pink and then painted the white stripes on it, because the closest thing I could find was like this brownie blush pink. And I was like, well, that's simply not going to do. Oh, one of these gems has been like sanded down smooth. It doesn't have like the same like facets a normal gem has. That's really funny. Strange, smooth gem. Stop that. I think I'm gonna need to grab the ham once I'm done this. Because right now, we're getting into a little bit more of a curved spot, and it's getting a little tricky. Here, let me... Oh. Now. It's a random gem. Get out of here. Okay, I'm gonna go buy the ham. Buy the ham. I'm gonna go grab the ham. I will be back. Ham time. It's still a day trip to get materials, though, so I don't go as often. Okay, that's fair. Okay, that's fair. It's not like a pop around the corner thing. That makes sense. Okay. That's better. That's immediately better. Yay, my ham! I remember having to explain to my mom what this was and why I needed it. Because I got this for Christmas one year when I was like... Oh, my phone's dying. I remember getting this for Christmas one year when I was like 17, and I had to explain to my mom. I'm like, no, Mom, like, it's a sewing tool. It's called a tailor's ham. If you go into the store and you ask them for a tailor's ham, I know they have one in stock. Show them this photo. I remember I had to like explain it to my mom, and Mom's like, okay, and you need this because I'm like, I just do, trust. Like, girl, I just need it. Okay, there we go. I need more gems. I wish I had a better way to like set up my camera. My poor mother, love her so dearly, love her to death. The amount of things she's had to like deal with growing up with me being into cosplay was so funny. Like, she was always the one that would like be down to like wrap me in duct tape, which was always really, really funny. Like, wrap me in duct tape and plastic wrap, not just duct tape. Could you imagine? Yeah, my mom just like wrapped me in duct tape. Like, don't worry about it. It's no biggie. Let me zoom in. we go. That's a little bit of a better angle. It's not perfect, but it'll do. It'll do. Um, like my mom was always the one who was down to like wrap me in plastic wrap and duct tape, or like I'd walk upstairs in like my underwear and like a mock up for a costume, and I'd be like, "Girl, do you think this looks good? Do you think this fits well?" I usually wouldn't cosplay when my parents were home though. That was the funny part. Like back when I lived with them, if there were days where I was doing like cosplay photo shoots, I would do it while they were at work because it would like distract me if somebody else was around and like trying to interrupt me while I'm taking photos. Mine painted me blue. Oh, for Undyne. My mother luckily never painted me blue. She did tell me once in the middle of Costco, though, that there was still blue body paint inside of my ears the day after a photo shoot, though, which was really funny. Because I completely missed washing the inside of my ears, despite the fact that I painted the inside of my ears, which was crazy. For a photo shoot, not even for going to a convention. I could have photoshopped my ears blue, but I was like, no, I'll paint them. I'll paint them. And then forgot to wash the paint out. So the next day we're at Costco and my mom leans over to me and she goes, "The inside of your ear is entirely blue." And I was like, "Oh. Oh no." And it's not subtle. I have short hair. Like my ears are out. Yeah, ears are a no for me painting them. Yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun. I have not really I've painted my ears since, but I don't like it. I prefer to wear wigs where I can have them covered if possible. Because it's an unpleasant feeling to have paint in your ears. And then you can end up like me, where you forget to wash it out. There's another random snarled bit of metal in here. Last time I was bedazzling, I stumbled upon a random snarled bit of metal that came out of my bag of gems. And there's another one. Like, it's not really focusing, but like, look at that. Just random, tiny little piece of metal. But it's like a bunch of metal, like, melted together. That's the funny part. It's not just like a little flat piece of metal. Oh, thank you. I love when a random other gem attaches. At least you're catching the metal before it's too late. Exactly. At least I'm not gluing like a random piece of metal to the costume. Yeah, I fight getting ear infections while showering regularly, so cleaning my ears and paint is a nightmare. Oh my god, yeah. Prioritize your health always. Oh no, scary ads. Ew, Twitch. The amount of ads Twitch makes me play for how like little return I see on them is really funny. I make like 13 cents a stream. Like, it's so funny. I'm not Twitch is not a lucrative endeavor for me. Twitch is an endeavor for my heart. There we go. Painting this glue on, honestly, is kind of like painting on puffy paint. It's a little strange. But not in like a bad way. It's just like strangely familiar. Oh, that's the one that got glue on it. I'll throw that one out. There we go. Oh. There we go. Now we're working with something, I think. It's still a little bit of an awkward angle, to be frank. Even with the ham, it's still a little weird, but I'm making it work. It's better with the ham than it was without it. It's just not as perfect as putting the, putting the rhinestones on when the fabric was flat, because this fabric cannot sit flat now. Not when it's curved into two little boob cups. I could always, put it on my mannequin, but then I would have to stand and bedazzle it. I don't want to do that. That sounds lame. Rhinestone me, boy. Come on. Oh, come on. Don't suddenly not stick. Maybe some paper or scrap fabric to fill the gapping. That is true. That could work. It's so funny. They don't, give out newspapers anymore. In my community, you have to, sign up and pay to get your newspaper now. Back when you used to, get it in the mail for free once a week, they just drop it at your house. So, I don't even have, newspaper that I can, use as scrap paper. Because I remember I used to, do paper mache and stuff. Or, use newspaper to put down when I painted, back when I first started cosplay. Because it was awesome, because I would always have fresh newspaper every week. And I would never have to worry about running out. But they just don't do that anymore. So, no newspaper for me. Some days I miss it. I don't miss it for reading it. I'm not reading the newspaper. No offense to the newspaper. No offense to the concept of the newspaper. I think a newspaper is incredibly charming. It's just unfortunately a dying art form. I remember going to marketing school and they were like, yeah, usually we teach you guys about print and newspaper, but newspaper kind of died. And we were all like, yeah, that's fair. None of us read the newspaper. We're all a bunch of Gen Zs. Late millennials, early Gen Zs in college. Yeah, we don't read the newspaper. Oh wait, I'm almost done one side of this. Yay! Yeah, it's expensive, but it was a good pattern paper in a pinch too. Exactly. Paper mache, covering your table while you paint, pattern paper. It was everything. I miss the newspaper for her usability. I do not miss her for her readability. Mostly because I'm pretty sure the only local newspaper we had came from an extremely biased news source, which was really funny. You get your news, but it could be crazy. Oh, I didn't even pick up one. You get your news, but it comes with a side of wackadoodle. Red Wine Supernova is so loud in my ears right now. I gotta turn my music down. I'm like, ooh. I had to get free newspaper from the post office for Senshi. Ooh, smart. Smart. Because you made Senshi entirely out of paper mache, didn't you? Or you paper mache him after you constructed him, didn't you? Brave paper mache warrior. Never forget Kimber working on Senshi, and then in the middle of working on Senshi, I just released a Senshi pattern. And I was like, sorry. My bad. I'm a little late to the game. But listen, you made it work. You don't need me. You don't need me. You're brave by yourself. I don't know why I went southern there. Paper mache, 50% Elmer's glue and 50% water. That is paper mache to me. Paper mache to me, the key part is not the mache. It is the paper. The key part to me is that there is newspaper or paper involved. I'm trying to learn foam to be better at it. Foam is hard. I remember I used to like foam because I liked that if you made a mistake, you could just like fill it. Like use like gap filler and just fill it back up. But it's so hard and it takes so many like chemicals and tools and everything to make work. And you kind of can't really like do a foam project in the corner of your room like you can a sewing project. Foam is hard. If I knew it better, I'd use the better gun for Senshi. Alas, Walmart 50% craft foam held my hand. Take my hand. Listen, in a pinch, the Walmart Fun Foam is a darling. My first ever cosplay that I like wore to a Comic-Con, I made a Winter Soldier Bucky arm out of an old pair of leggings and craft store Fun Foam. Not EVA foam. I could not find EVA foam near me. No, sirree Bob. I was using Fun Foam. I was using the little like neon green sheets of Fun Foam from the dollar store. And listen, was it perfect? No. Was it decent? Eh. Did I wear it? Was the foam primed? No. Was it just raw Fun Foam from the store, not heat sealed, not dremeled, not anything, just painted silver? Yes, sirree, Bob. Not even painted black before I painted it silver. I like painted it silver directly over the colors that it was. So like you could see like the orange and the neon green like through the silver. It was really funny. But by God, did I have fun. I used foam mat for my loader years back, but lost most of the skills for that. Real. I was like pretty competent with like pink insulation foam and EVA foam and Warbler back in ye olden days. But now my skills lie entirely in sewing. Not that I can't use foam. I can. But I know more about sewing and I know more about 3D printing these days than I do about foam. Foam scares me a little bit. Foam scares me a little bit, I say. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I just prefer projects that are, like, entirely sewn. As opposed to making foam. There's a reason my Isabel from Baldur's Gate 3 cosplay has not been worked on in, like, 6 or 8 months. Because she had too much, like, 3D printing and foam work and sanding and painting that I was like, I want to sew. I want to sew. I can't. I can't keep doing this. I need to sew. And so I stopped working on Isabel to start working on Bullen. And then I stopped working on Bullen to start working on Rhea. And then I started working on Bullen again. And then I finished Bullen. And then I finished Rhea. And then I started Chapel. And at this point, I'm like, I don't know if I'm coming back for you, Isabel. Isabel, I don't know if I'm coming back. I'm so sorry, girl. You would have been such a fun cosplay. However, I have... Oops. I started a new project-itis. That and my, like, 6 or 7-year-old unfinished Captain Marvel costume that is still in one of my drawers over there. I was like learning like molding and flexible casting for Captain Marvel and I never finished that costume. Like I was learning it all. I was putting it all on the line for Captain Marvel and it was a costume I never finished. And now I have all this blue Yaya Han neoprene that I would love to use for a new project. Or like ultraprene, I mean. And I don't have any characters that would work for it. So it just sits in my fabric stash. I'm like, oh, someday I will find you the perfect project and you will shine. You will shine, Yaya Han Blue Ultrapreme. I promise you. Did it like rom pom pom. I used that for my Dr. Draken cosplay. It looks beautiful. Hell yeah. I would love to do more molding and casting. It's just one of those things where it involves like a specialized space and expensive supplies and all this stuff that I'm just like, I just prefer to sew. I just prefer to sew, man. And I don't really have like a garage to work in right now. Our garage is a mess and it has been since we moved in here. I'd like to clean it out someday and like get my airbrush and stuff back in there because I want to airbrush things again. But for now, we're in Sewing Nation. But listen, I don't feel like I'm losing out on things by only making cosplays that really have essentially entirely sewing components, because that's where I find the most joy in cosplay. So, and there's not really a lot of characters that I love that don't have outfits that could be made with mostly sewing. Like Anne Boleyn, entirely sewing. And I wanted to make that costume for 5 years. Upcoming costumes, Chapel, entirely sewing. Rio was entirely sewing and like paint and like a little bit of painting for the jacket and stuff. But it's like entirely like fabric work as opposed to like foam work or warbler work or 3D printing. I love to 3D model things. I love to 3D print things. I hate finishing a 3D print. It's so tedious and it's hard on my hands and it hurts. I would rather sew for days on end than sand one 3D printed prop. That's my toxic trait. I love doing just sewing for costumes. You and me, we're in this together. In a world full of foam smiths. We love to sew. I respect people who are foam smiths. I respect the hell out of them. I miss making props, that's one thing. I miss having like fun props to go with my costumes. A lot of times my costumes themselves are the showstoppers and not like a costume with a fun prop. I miss having fun props. But it's a lot easier to store certain costumes than it is to store certain big props. Ice clouds. I worked on my first 3D print like 5 years ago and I don't have any of those fancy tools, so I sanded the whole thing by hand. My wrists have never been the same. That's real. I keep thinking about getting one of those air-powered hand sanders because of the fact that 3D prints, especially like PLA, if you try and use a power tool on them, they get too hot and they just melt. They just melt the plastic. Like, you can't use a Dremel, really, on a 3D print. I keep thinking about getting, like, one of those air-powered, like, air compressor-powered sanders. But I've yet to bite the bullet yet. Because I'm like, well, if it doesn't work, then I have this thing that doesn't work. Luckily, my dad got good with 3D printing, so all I have to do is glue and paint them, and foam is scary, but I will bow to them, too. I wish I had somebody who could finish my 3D printed props for me. I used to use, like, XTC 3D, like the resin from Smooth On, that's, like, specifically meant to smooth out 3D prints, and that was a huge help, but unfortunately, we had a local supplier back in the day who, like, was, like, a local, like, Smooth On supplier, but they closed down, and now I have to, like, pay abhorrent shipping fees to get, Smooth On products near me, so I just don't. I got so confused for a second. I looked up at the stream and I saw this, and I thought there was a tag on the inside of my costume, and I was like, how is there a tag here? I made this myself. Who put that there? It's the tag on the Taylor Sam. It's the tag on the Taylor Sam. I am crazy. I am losing my mind just a little bit. Sanding 3D prints hurts my wrists so bad. Same with crimping wigs. I made a video that I think I posted the other day on... I know I posted on YouTube Shorts, but I also, I think, posted on Instagram. about like how you need to take breaks when you're crimping your wigs because you can genuinely get a carpal tunnel injury from it. And people are trying to argue with me in the comments. They're like, well, you don't get a carpal tunnel injury from crimping wigs if you take breaks. And I'm like, yeah, that's what the video's about. If you watch the video, I say you should take a break every half hour because you could get a carpal tunnel injury. And you're like, yeah, you should take breaks because you could get carpal tunnel injury. And it's like, yes, that is what I'm saying. We're agreeing. Why are you arguing with me in the comments? My new favorite tool, however, if somebody's saying something stupid in my comments or arguing with me, it is this cool button. It is called delete comment. I don't care if that makes me a wuss. This is my online space. If you are stupid, I am going to silence you. I don't have to deal with your stupidity in my space. And people are like, you didn't get a carpal tunnel injury. You didn't get a carpal tunnel injury from crimping your wigs. Like, when I talk about my personal injury. And it's like, no, I did. I know my body and I know what happened to my body more than you do, person on the internet. And I know what happened to my poor wrist that was out of commission. Like, I don't need you, trying to assess my medical over the internet. I don't know you. I don't know you. I'm deleting your comment. You're being weird. Why are you telling somebody they're, like, faking? Like, I don't know what they think I'm faking it for. They think I'm telling people that I got, like, a carpal tunnel injury from, like, wig styling because it makes me seem cool? No. I'm using it as a precautionary tale. I'm using it as a precautionary tale. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Take breaks. Make sure you have proper crimping form so you're not, doing terrible things to your wrist. I know some people use, like, getting no sleep as a cosplayer, or, like, con crunching, or getting injured during a cosplay as, like, a brownie point to, like, make them seem cool. Not me. If I'm telling you about something stupid I did in cosplay, it's because I don't want you to do that. Wow, having carpal tunnel, so cool. Wow. Guys, can you believe how cool I am with my carpal tunnel injury that I got from crimping wigs that makes me unable to work? My job that I have to do to pay my bills on the computer that I can't do because I've ruined my non-dominant hand by not taking care of it. That's so cool and so crazy, and everybody should do it. And you should look up to me because I'm so cool. Like, that's not me. If I'm telling you I did something stupid, it's because I don't want you to do it. Like, I talk about it all the time with my Anne Boleyn costume. I applied all my studs by hand because I thought a hand press for studs was way out of my budget. And then I found out after I finished Boleyn, it cost $60. It cost $60, and instead of it taking about 30 seconds to install one stud, it takes 5. And it does not have any pressure on my hands like the 30 seconds per stud did. Like, I tell people whenever they ask me, they're like, what's one thing you recommend when working on a 6 costume? I'm like, buy a hand press. Buy a hand press. If you never end up using it again, you can sell it after, but it is worth it for the money for the project with the amount of studs you have to add. I wanted to get a grommet press for the sand thing. Hand presses are awesome because you can get all sorts of different attachments for them. So you can do studs, you can do grommets. I don't have the grommet attachment for mine right now, but I wish I did for Chapel. But it's also kind of very nice because with Chapel, and these grommets, I get to use the funny tool and hit it with a hammer. And it is always kind of beautiful to be able to hit your cosplay with hammers. Like, I get mad at this costume. I'm like, okay, time to hit it with hammers. I'm like, all right, come here. Let me hit you with hammers. I'm mad at you. Let me hit you. It's almost a relaxing process for me. What isn't relaxing is using the leather punch. The leather punch and I are enemies. The leather punch, I'm sure, would work better on actual leather and not on fabric-backed faux leather. That's probably where my problem is because the faux leather is fabric-backed. But it is very helpful if it does not hurt my wrist. I can only punch like 5 holes at a time because it starts to hurt my wrist, which is why I only have half the grommets installed on the bottoms of this costume right now was because my wrist started to hurt and I was like, I gotta stop. I gotta take a break. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. You can't keep getting away with this. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only person who likes installing grommets into a costume, though. I find it so relaxing. I find it so relaxing, which is really funny because it literally is me sitting there and hitting my costume with hammers. I'm like, oh, this is so relaxing. And it's like, bang, 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 bang. I feel like the first half of the collar was going so slow, and now the second half of the collar has gone by so fast. Like, boom. We're almost done. I love doing it too. My only problem is I've got a metal hammer and a metal press, and so the clanging sound really hurts. Yeah. That's the thing, is it's loud. It's loud, and it's one of those sewing things I can't do in the middle of the night. Because I refuse to use my serger in the middle of the night. That's one thing. For the sake of, I live in a townhouse, and then I also live with my partner and 2 roommates. And despite the fact that I'm 2 floors away from their bedrooms, I don't know what my neighbor's house layout is like. So I'm not about to use my really loud, clangy serger at like 2 in the morning when there could be somebody sleeping on the adjacent wall to me. Un- Unlike some of the previous neighbors I've had in previous places I've lived, I'm actually respectful of the people that I share walls with. What a shock. Respect for people, what a shock. None of that at the Joe concert. None of that with my former guy who lived above me. Shaking my head. SMHing my head. SMHing my head and like similar phrases like that are never not funny. Like SMHing my head and PMOing me off. PMOing me off I think is so funny. Like pissing me off, me off. Or RIP in Peace, the original. Rip in peace. Come on. Oh, come on. Don't get caught in the clog. Thank you. No clogs. Only joy. Please. I feel like the glue bottle can sense when I'm close to the end of a section, and it's like, I'm going to give you a little bit of trouble here, just to remind you that I'm in charge, not you. Boop. Yay!
Dirty brown water.
Dirty brown water. Kimber, thank you. Perfect timing. Dirty brown water right as I finish this section. Today's dirty brown water, what I am drinking, is water. What a shock. It is not dirty or brown, though. It is fresh from my Brita filter. I love that the VTuber also, like, sometimes semi-reacts when I drink. Oh my god, you're daily haunting! GLaDOS! That was when I was cosplaying GLaDOS, my beautiful girl. Ooh, bougie! We didn't have non-potable tap water, but when I moved out on my own for the first time, I didn't trust the tap water. So I was like, I'm gonna buy a Brita. I think my mom bought me it for, like, Christmas. Because we were both like, I don't know if I trust that tap water. Oh wow, this is actually such a huge help for this part at the bottom. Let me... Hmm. I need to figure out a way, like my camera's there, but I want to figure out a way to have it like here, straight down. But it's my webcam, so it's just hanging off the end of my monitor right now. I need like a little arm for it. Do they make webcam arms like they make mic arms? Because my mic's on an arm, and it's the most helpful thing in the world. Because I love my crafting streams. They're something near and dear to my heart. I love to make silly things on stream. I love to make silly things on stream. Just because, like, it feels nice. It feels like crafting with friends. I don't get to craft with friends. I get to craft by myself. In my basement. In myself. In myself. Whoa. By myself in my basement while my partner's at work. While my partner is getting haunted by ghosts, unfortunately. Everybody give your sympathies to Peter. He is out there getting haunted by ghosts today. What was I saying? Wow, all thought just left my brain. All coherent thought just left my brain. We must almost be 2 hours into the stream. I feel like 2 hours into the stream, my brain starts shutting down. There we go. That's a good spot. There we go. Sleep door. I hit ignore. Ugh. I don't know if that picked up on the mic, but that just made a really weird, like, wet, squelchy noise. Like, I think there was an air bubble underneath the gem, so when I pushed it down, like, in the glue, like an air bubble in the glue, so it like a fart noise. It was scary. Guys, my costume's farting at me. Call my mom. Somebody call my mom, tell her I need to be picked up. I've started, like, and there's no guarantees this is going to happen, but I've started trying to draw myself a new background for my little just chatting screen for Zenirith, for my little VTuber. And I hate drawing backgrounds so bad. So last night I started constructing a room in The Sims to use as like a reference for perspective and furniture. And the room in The Sims looks so funny because I specifically use Sims 2 because it's the Sims I'm comfortable with, and my Sims 4 was glitching out. I only know how to make Sims in Sims 4. I don't know how to like use the build mode or play the game. I've always been a Sims 2 guy. So I just opened up like the Sims 2 build mode, and it is so funny trying to build like a modern day room in the Sims 2 when all the furniture in the Sims 2 is from the 2000s. So it has like a certain, it has a very certain aesthetic to it. And I kept like putting down furniture and being like, okay, I'm gonna need to like edit this in the actual drawing to make it not look like it's from 2003. Because this furniture is ugly. Like the mirror selection in the game for like floor mirrors. I gave up on putting a floor mirror in there because all of the options were so ugly that I was like, oh, I can't. I can't do this. I'm not creative at all when it comes to building in The Sims. I'm more of a person who likes to let it run and just watch what happens. I love making Sims. I love to make Sims. I always loved to make Sims more than I love to play the game. And then when I play the game, I try and like make the most chaotic things in the world happen. When I was a kid and I would play The Sims, it would be like what Sim is cheating on who with what Sim is having a lesbian affair specifically. I would like make the most beautiful girl in the world, like the most beautiful woman sim in the world, and then put her into one of the pre-existing like sim families, like that came with the game, and make her home wreck their marriage. And like a lesbian home wrecker situation. And that's what I would do in The Sims. And now as an adult, I just make pretty looking Sims and I take pictures of them sometimes. I specifically make my OCs in The Sims so that I can then use screenshots of them in like the create a sim as drawing references. Because now I have like perfect 360-degree angles of what their faces look like. And they make the best art references. BRB got a doctor's appointment, but have fun in the meantime. Godspeed. Thank you so much for stopping by. Best luck at your doctor's appointment. I would always make the ugliest homes in The Sims when I was a child. I specifically remember I would always like to make nightclubs for some reason. I think it's because they had fun lighting in them, and I loved that I could put like neon signs everywhere and make the walls dark and make like funny floors. And like put like weird neon lights everywhere. And then I also loved making tree houses for some reason. I loved making like beachside tree houses. And every house I made had to have a pool. Because I thought it was like the peak of luxury as a child to have a pool with your house. And as an adult, yeah, it is. It is. If you have a pool with your house, that's the height of luxury. It's like having a fridge with a built-in ice maker. Like, that's how you know that you've made it in life. Now I want to play The Sims. Now I want to crack open The Sims and look at the Sims that I made. Because my Sims 4 is broken. It won't let me, like, move into any of the worlds for some reason. So all I can do is make Sims. But if I try and, like, load my pre-existing Sims games to, like, go to their houses and stuff, I can't do that. Which is really funny. All my really intricate custom content filled Sims just live in the create a sim. They do not get to live their lives. They're there entirely to be little dress up Barbie dolls for me and nothing else. Oh, Cat's Eye. Cat's Eye just had their comeback and they released a new song called Gnarly, and it is getting flamed for not being very good. Not even not being very good, but being really bad. And I feel so bad because it seems like the girls are very proud of it. And they have no say in the songs they make. And I'm like, oh, you poor things. You're getting like raked through the coals for having a terrible song. And you have to like smile and perform it and act like the internet's not telling you that you ruined music. Because it sounds nothing like their other music. And it's a very jarring change, and I think a lot of people are very jarred by that change. Because it's so different. Speaking of Cat's Eye, if you've not watched the like Cat's Eye Dream Academy documentary on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's fascinating. It's like a look into the like K-pop training programs as well as the competition show that they made these girls go on. They made them go through like a year's worth of K-pop training. And then told them after that year, surprise, we're putting you on a reality competition show where the audience is going to vote you out every week, and whoever doesn't get voted out at the end gets to join a girl group, and everybody else has to go home. And it's like crazy. It's crazy because they released this documentary to promote the fact that they were putting out this group Cat's Eye. But this documentary does not make the company that made Cat's Eye look good. It makes them look like they overworked these girls and like gaslit them and lied to them because they never told them when they started training that they were going to be on this competition show, despite the fact that that was the plan the whole time. So these girls were like training, thinking that they'd someday make it into like a K-pop style like pop group, only to be told a year into doing this, a year into 12-hour a day training days, almost 7 days a week, hey, by the way, you're going on a competition show. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I watched it because I was like hearing things about the documentary specifically where people are like, this is crazy. How does this does not make this makes the girls in the group look good, but it does not make the company that runs the group look good at all. And I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, this does not this doesn't make them look good. It was crazy. It's just a crazy PR move for me to decide as a company to release this thing. I guess because they spent all this time filming it, they're like, well, we might as well release it. But they didn't edit it to make themselves look like very favorable. I'm gonna need like so much of a warning to be able to mentally prepare myself real before being tossed into a competition. Exactly. They didn't even really get a warning. They got told, by the way, you're getting put on a competition show. We're taking you for makeovers now. We're going to completely change all of your hairstyles. Which I thought was really funny. They were like, oh, yeah, you're gonna be on this reality TV show. Anyways, who wants a haircut? Who wants to get their hair dyed a fun color? There we go. I need more gems. I'm running out of gems. I'm so low on my gems. Um, It'll be nice to actually get mostly through this bag of gemstones as opposed to this sized bag of gemstones that I bought for Berlin, which looks like it's barely been touched, which I think is really funny. Because, like, I buy these at Michael's. Because it's the only place near me where you can get, like, glass flatback rhinestones. And I'd rather support somewhere locally than buy them off of, like, Amazon. And I'm, like, particular and picky about, like, color of these things and size of them. And so I like being able to see them in person. And, they only come in bags of, like, 2,880. You cannot get them in smaller amounts. You're getting 2,800 in these bad boys. Thank you. The nice thing is once I finish all this bedazzling, I can finish adding the grommets to the shorts and then add the modesty panels to the shorts. Because you can see the modesty panel. You can see the modesty panels are already installed in the top. Because when they get laced up, the modesty panel just prevents me from having like skin peeking out on the side. It's for modesty, obviously, as the name implies. Excuse me. But installing them is like annoying to me for some reason. So I don't want to. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But once it's done, essentially the bottoms are done. And then the top is done now that it's bedazzled. And it gets like, it needs another wash to like get rid of little bits of stabilizer. Like, there's stabilizer right here. But once that's done, like, I'm DONZ Dunzo the top of this. Which is really exciting. Because then I can start to wear it. I can just wear it around my house for fun. The shorts are tricky because they also have like a belt that I need to attach, and then I need to add like a belt buckle to it around the back because the back like laces up and stuff. I don't like to call it the butt cleavage panel, but the back of the bottom of the bottoms has like a little bit of lacing right at the center back. That without a modesty panel in it just shows off butt cleavage. Just because of how low it cuts. It's really, really funny. I tried it on earlier because it doesn't lace up yet. Because I don't have the grommets in. But I tried it on earlier and it literally is like a butt cleavage cutout. It's very, very funny. That is such a specific number. Like, no, we can't round it to a nice 50. No, 2880 is so specific. Like, why do we have 2,880 rhinestones? Could you not have added 120 more? Could you not have added 80 less? Could you not have made it like 2750? 2750 seems like a reasonable, like, even number. And that's one side done. Boom, 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 boom. Let me fluff out that boob again. Look at that. Look at the way she shimmers and she sparkles. Stop it. Hooray! Let me yippee. Wait, let me yippee. Wait. Let me yippee. Yippee! Yay! It's looking so good. Thank you, Kimber. Thank you, Kimber. I love you. Yes, shiny sparklies make bird brain happy. Exactly. Little sparkly rocks. Little sparkly rocks to make the brain smile. The beautiful thing, and it doesn't pick up so much on this camera because this is literally just a webcam. But I use one of my studio lights to light this while I'm doing crafting streams. And studio lights make rhinestones like literally just dazzle and sparkle so much. It's awesome. Kimber with the bits. Kimber, thank you. Nice to me. Nice to me, kind to me. 40 whole biddies. That makes you my #1 bit person now. Wait. Kimber, you're #1. Yippee! 40 yippies just for you. You know what? That gets 5 big booms. 5 big booms for Kimber. I've been thinking, speaking of stream redeems, I've been thinking of a new stream redeem. I want to run it by you guys. I want you guys to tell me if this is funny. Do you think a stream redeem called something like outfit check or fit check that turns on my webcam, no matter if I'm VTubing or not, and makes you look at the stupid pajamas I'm wearing that day is funny? Because oftentimes when I stream, I'm like wrapped up in a blanket burrito and I look like garbage, and I think it'd be funny if once a stream somebody could redeem fit check. And I'm forced to grapple with the ugly outfit I'm wearing. That would never get seen on stream otherwise. I mentioned it to you, yeah, Kimber. Because I think it'd be stupid, but in like a funny way. Like a 1K point redeem, exactly. If you save up enough of your points, you can embarrass me on stream. Or I can embarrass you if it's a day where I happen to look cute, and then you get pranked. You get pranked. Yeah, get pranked, idiot. I actually look cute today. Because right now, I'm wearing a t-shirt covered in cat hair and a Haunted Mansion blanket, and a pair of, like, little boy gym shorts. They're not little boy gym shorts. They're adult man gym shorts, but I look like a little boy in them. I'd offer you a free fit check, but that would involve moving my webcam, and I'm scared if I move it, I'll never be able to get it back here. You know what, actually, I want Jelly to tell the dad joke. Speaking of point redeems, Jelly, can you lay on us a dad joke in a few seconds?
What's the advantage of living in Switzerland? Well, the flag is a big plus.
Ba-doom. Thank you, Jelline. That is a good one. I liked that one. That one was actually kind of funny. Sometimes they're really bad. Because I think she pulls from like a website called like Dad. It might literally just be dadjokes.com. She like pulls from a repository of dad jokes. Like I have no idea what this repository of dad jokes is. I just trust that she pulls out something funny. Like it's completely up to her. I don't know what she does. It's entirely randomized. And it's kind of beautiful. I'm gonna clean up my room a bit. I'm here but AFK. Godspeed, Kimber. Be so brave. I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling and bedazzling. In an angle that is actually kind of hard for you guys to see. My bad. Trying to fix it. Go, 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 go. Come on. There we go. Let me scoot a little bit. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scallops left. And then we're done scalloping the top and the bottom of the costume. Or like bedazzling it. I think there's bedazzling on like her little wrist fringe thingies. And maybe her... She has like boot covers that she wears, but I don't think I'm going to make those because I think I'm going to buy a pair of big white go-go boots. Mini skirt and my go-go boots, as Miss Chapel herself once said. Because I just want a white pair of go-go boots. Because I have like a black pair of platform demonias that have kind of become like a staple cosplay shoe for me. And I feel like a white pair of go-go boots will also be a staple cosplay shoe for me. So I want to save up and buy myself like a nice pair of boots. Boots the house down, as they say. I have like a lead on a nice pair of go-go boots. They're just expensive. So I'm like, I'll save up and then I'll get them later, I guess. I'll be responsible. I'll be responsible. I have to pay the government for my taxes. I say that like I'm paying it all off now. I owe the government a lot of money in taxes. Because that is the fun thing they don't tell you about like running a small business and running a solo run business is you don't pay income tax every month. Because you just get like paid out when you get paid out. And you don't get like a paycheck where they automatically take away your income tax. So at the end of the year, you need to pay all that income tax somehow. And so I get a pretty big tax bill at the end of every year when I file my taxes. And then I pay it off for the next year. And it sucks and it's annoying. The more successful my business is, the more tax I have to pay. That's the worst part. If I have a good year, I have to pay more taxes. If I have a bad year, I still have to pay taxes. They genuinely haunt me. The tax man, he haunts me. They really do make taxes confusing as much as possible. They do. They do. I'm lucky that I understand most of it at this point. Like, I don't have an accountant. I do this all myself. But they don't make them easy for anybody. They don't make taxes easy for anyone to understand. They're like, this is so confusing. Figure it out. Because I'm under 25, I get like the free TurboTax upgrade when I was doing my taxes, which like lets you ask a question to the tax experts at TurboTax. And I asked this guy a question and he literally responded with, No, that's not how it works. Why would you think that's how it works? Like, I was asking him like a genuine question because I was confused about one step of my tax process, and he was so rude in his response. He was like, "That's not how that works. Why would you think that's how that works?" And I was like, "Okay, sorry for asking, I guess. Sorry for asking you a question when your job is to be on call so people can ask you tax questions. Sorry, I don't want to commit tax fraud." Like, he was so mean about it for no reason. There we go. I always get scared when I glue. I get like quiet when I glue because I get scared that I'm gonna like mess it up. I'm gonna mess it up and the glue's gonna explode all over my project or something. Blame it on manipulation, a human after all. Come on. There we go. I'm like kind of locking in because I'm like, oh, I'm 3 scallops away from the end. Like, oh, I'm so close. And then when I'm done my scallops, I can do what I've wanted to do this whole time. Play Marvel Rivals. My post-stream ritual of playing Marvel Rivals. I gotta lock in for the scallops. The scallops can actually sense fear, yeah. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta lock in and I gotta do these fast. This hasn't been too bad though. It's tedious, but it's like a nice tedious. It's a fun tedious. If I had to like pick up each gem with like tweezers and then place them down, that'd be different. But using this little wax tool to just be able to pick them up and just go plink is so fun. I love being able to plink. There we go. And then after this, I start thinking about the wig. Her wig scares me so bad, but I'm gonna try my best to tackle it. I might do that on stream. I might not do that on stream because it might be one of those things where I have to like sit there and listen to a YouTube video and like space out just because I hate wig styling so much that I'm like, I might need something joyous to distract me. A joyous YouTube video about theme parks, perhaps. If I'm doing something I really hate, I'll put on like a Defunct Land video to make it more bearable. Because I can never have a bad time when a Defunct Land video's on. Kevin Perjurer gives me like a sense of peace. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My cat's here, and I can hear him murping. Hi. Yeah? That's a big yawn, buddy. Oh, Lord. Dropping my glue bottle. Scary. The final scallop. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. It's the final scallop. Almost there. Okay. Yes. Yes. Oh. Yes. Locking in. Locking in for the final, like, 2 gems. I can fit one more. I can definitely fit one more. There we go. You guys. It's done. Let me Thank you, Kimber. Let me pour.
Wow,
Ha
beautiful.
ha ha, wow,
Wow.
beautiful, wow. Thank you. I did it. Let me move my ham out of the way so I can show it off a little bit. Let me scoot out the ham. Ow. That hurt. Let me turn it around. Ta-da! Just a little piece of dirt on her. Never mind. Ta-da! Not the, you know. I kind of can't fit it all in the camera. Let me fix that. Let me fix that. Oh. That's not fixing it. Hello? There we go. There we go. Look! Look at her. Her one boob got a little dented. She's so cute. There's like a little bit of detail that needs to go here still. But I'm waiting on more pink paint. They told me it would take a couple more weeks until they're able to ship my second bottle of pink paint. So I'm like scared. I'm like waiting scared. I'm wondering if they'll ever actually ship that to me or if they just said they will and then I'm never going to get it. The company I order from is hit and miss sometimes. Most of the time they're really great, and then sometimes if they don't have things in stock, they'll call me at 8 in the morning, like 4 times in a row to tell me this, and I'm asleep. So I don't answer the phone, and then I email them. I email them at the email that they give you to tell you, email this if there's something wrong with your order. Like, I emailed them once because they sent me the completely wrong size of studs for Anne Boleyn. And after a week, they didn't respond. So I emailed them again. And they didn't respond again after a week. So I called them on the phone. And I called them on the phone and they were like, oh yeah, we kept meaning to respond to your email. We just forgot. I'm like, don't say that to a customer. Don't say that to me when I've paid you like $60 for... I paid you for $60 worth of studs and you sent me $60 of the wrong studs? Like, yeah, I am gonna be a little incessant about getting back to you about that. I need my studs to finish my costume. So they could very well be holding my paint hostage. I don't know. But God, the bedazzling brings this together so well. It makes it look so much more finished. And look at the way it bedazzles. Look at the way it sparkles in the light. Guys! Guys, it's so cute. I need a yippee for me. Yippee! Yay! Yippee! What a joy, what whimsy, what merriment. What joy, whimsy, and merriment. This is good. I'm happy with this. I'm very, very happy with this. Hi, love this. How do you do that? You have the best Twitch I've seen thus far. Thank you. I just set it up myself using an app called Mix It Up. Little yippee. I set it up using an app called Mix It Up. And it's like a little GIF of confetti and then a little autism creatures in it that I drew myself, and then the yippee sound effect. Yippee! It's so funny to me. I love adding funny things to stream. They make me very, very happy. It makes me happy to add like silly, funny things to stream because they make me laugh. I don't care if anybody else finds them as funny as I do. They make me laugh. The shiny sparklies. Yay! I love a shiny sparkly. However, sadly, my friends. Wait, let me flip over to the back. Well, I say this so that you can admire the back too. Sadly, my friends, this does mark the end of stream for us, though. Which is sad. This does mark the end for us. Because I didn't plan on working on anything else. The stream was bedazzle until my hands hurt or I finish it. And I finished it. And look at that. Oh, it's so cute. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I don't have anybody for us to raid today, unfortunately. I need to start watching. I gotta go be productive myself now. I'm sorry. I'm leaving you to be productive on your own so that I can stop being productive and play video games. I don't have anybody for us to raid today. I need to watch more people on Twitch so I can find more people to raid. Oopsies. Oopsies, I gotta watch more people. Everybody I watch on Twitch is like very popular. And I always feel weird raiding people who are popular because I'm like, hi, it's me. I'm here. Sorry. Oh well. I don't understand Twitch culture. I'm doing my best here. But I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me. It was very fun. I had a lot of fun finishing this up. I hope to do more chapel crafting streams in the future. I'm not sure what. Maybe wig styling, maybe not. There's not too much sewing left to do. At least not things I can do on stream. Like adding grommets I'm not doing on stream because that's hitting things with a hammer and that's loud. But you might see another chapel craft stream from me. Who knows? If not, I will be back Monday at 3, probably doing cosplay patterning. This is my first time being able to catch you live. Hope I can catch the next stream too. Yay! Thank you, Ice. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm live most days. Most days. I'm live Mondays and Thursdays at 3. 3 p.m. EST. And who knows? I never know what I get up to until like 6 hours before I stream. So who knows what I'll be doing on Monday. Maybe it'll be chapel. I don't even know. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. I'm going to redeem my daily haunting for the day before I go because I want to know what mine is. Cowboy Michael! What a joy. I love that guy. That's such a stupid photo of me. Okay, bye everybody. Be good, be safe. Tell somebody you love them today, okay? Okay, thank you. Bye.
Howdy, and welcome to the adventuring party.
Thank you for the follow, Ice. See you guys later.